Hi, I'm Sophia. I'm a fashion writer living in Milan, and you're watching Uno Digital.
I did grow up on Guam, yes. I'm from Magana Heights. Well, I think we did live in the States for a little while, and when we moved back to Guam, or when we moved to Guam, I realized how boring it was in the States because we didn't have all the family there and the friends, and there's so many social activities and water sports, and I really had a full life as a kid, and I see that now with my own children. When they come here, they just love it, and they miss it when we're back in Milan because there's something to do every day, and they're almost overwhelmed by family. And of course, people on Guam are uniquely positive and generous, and it's just a beautiful place all around. I think so. I think that Guam is one of the most beautiful places that I could have possibly grown up. I wouldn't have changed that. I think that Guam is a very inspirational place, not only because it's beautiful, but because there's so much history here. And I grew up in Guam Heights, where my family's from, and I had all these little aunties, and they were such characters, and they were always telling stories. And they would tell me stories mostly about the war, like the good times and the bad times, a lot of bad times, but they were very inspirational for me growing up, and I think that they definitely influenced my desire to be a storyteller and my curiosity in the world. I think it's a very unique experience to grow up around a lot of people who have lived through so much history, and I don't think you can say that for a lot of places in the States. Like if you grow up in a suburb or a small town, it's just not as interesting as growing up here. Well, I always liked to write. Ever since I was a little kid, I would write stories, and I'd give them as a present to my mom. I'd illustrate the pages. I think at a very young age I was doing that, and my teachers would tell my parents that, she really likes to write, and this is her thing. And my parents were very surprised by that, but at the same time, my dad didn't really want me to be a writer, because I think he didn't think that I would make any money. So. I had an internship at the AP, and I was writing my master's thesis, and Pope John Paul II was very sick, and he had such a monumental papacy, such a dynamic papacy, and so I decided to write my thesis on the media coverage of the Pope. And when I interviewed for the Boston Globe job, I actually had met the foreign editor, and when he heard about my thesis, he was very excited about that, and he hired me right away because I had that background. I had already done a lot of work. I had interviewed a lot of cardinals and archbishops, so I was very well prepared to cover the transition between Pope John Paul II and Benedict XVI. I definitely felt like there was a little bit of divine intervention there because I got very lucky. I was in the right place at the right time. It was before the dawn of social media and all this stuff. Growing up on Guam, there's so many challenges here in this small community, but that has really prepared me not to be surprised by anything in life and to be prepared. I think that you shouldn't waste your time worrying about what other people think or what other people say about you, or what other people are doing, because you can't control that. You can only control the way you behave and how you treat other people and what you're doing and how focused you are on your job and your kids. And I think that's, my secret to happiness.